All right, I think we're good. I probably should mute my Twitch page before it starts blasting ads and get the Twitter stuff sent out. So I think we're good. All right. Hello, everyone. This is Chris Ingerson, and it is August 12th, and this is the August 12th Saturday Devstream. So today we are going to be working on some more of our custom text-based adventure stuff. Specifically, I would like to get exit rooms actually implemented today. So currently, when we make our own custom text-based adventures, we have support for a starting room, as well as, regular non-special rooms that are just rooms that exist. Oops. Let's quickly go over here. So let's go to create, go to Zork. All right. So now if we look at our regular map, you can see that we have a starting room, which is highlighted in green, and then a couple of regular rooms, which are just black. So what we want to do is we need to have support for an arbitrary number of exit rooms. I assume most games will have one exit room, but I would like to allow, maybe multiple endings or what have you. So unlike starting rooms, we're going to have multiple possible exit rooms. Hello, Scorpio. Welcome back. How are you today? And actually, so as we let me go ahead and load this file up. So this is our current Zork test file, and we have down here in the middle here a object called settings, and this contains information for the game itself. So you can see that we have a settings start room, and that's giving us an int ID. That ID is the ID for the room that we actually start in, so that's just this starting room. If we were to actually stop and take a look at all of this, let's go to UI, view container, classic mode, where is it? Here we are, custom game map. Actually, no, I bet it would probably be better to go here, global. And custom game author session, there we go. So starting room has an ID of 10. And that's, again, that whole ID thing is just because we need to have a integer value that never changes despite what the player might rename the room. So we needed a constant value that we know will always be correct. So what we're going to do with, oops, wrong one. So what I'm planning to do with exit rooms is basically the same thing as starting rooms, except instead of a single value, we're going to have an array of values that it can be. And actually, hold on, before I go too much farther, array of values. Sorry, just had to make sure that my mic was not off, because I'm always paranoid about that now. So we're just going to have an array of integer IDs similar to our start room, and those IDs will just point to all of the exit rooms that are in the game. So let's go ahead and stop playing. And we're going to go to, I think we wanted to say custom game session over here. So we should have, there we go, a protected starting room. Then we're going to have protected list int. These are going to be exit rooms are equal to new list int, blah, blah, blah. Hello, Anthony. Welcome back. How are you doing on this fine Saturday? So we have our exit rooms list created here. Heading up to Indy right now. Oh, cool. What are you doing in Indy? Just having a fun weekend here? I guess I don't really know what would be fun here. Well, if you do get the chance, if you go to the mall, there's a pretty good arcade on the top floor. But aside from that, I honestly don't know what you can do in Indy. Then again, I'm not much of a shopper, so in any case. So doing good. Oh, that's good. I am doing all right. We'll see how today's stream goes. I feel like that should be my default response whenever someone asks me something on the dev stream. It's like, well, we'll see how this stream goes. But pretty good so far. I spent actually an hour trying to cut down on that little lag spike whenever we load these files. So I've noticed that or I debugged it, or I profiled it, and the current lag spike that happens whenever you actually start to, I'll go ahead and show that actually, so people know what I'm talking about. Tilt Studios. I do not know what Tilt Studios is. Um, but anyway, so there's a weird lag for like half a second that happens whenever we load one of our save files, and it's not actually our save file that's causing the issue. It seems to be something related to Unity's www service and loading textures. So I'm going to click through this. Start. Let's go to extras, author mode. All right, so I'm going to move my mouse back and forth like this, and you'll notice for a little bit that it's going to hang in one spot. So it was a very, very brief moment, but you saw it hang there. And that was because it has to load this image. So I profiled it, and that image loading seems to be the thing that does that little lag spike. I don't know why, but that's just how it is, I guess. Although it's actually very strange, because if that was the case, then I wouldn't expect a lag spike here, because this image should be cached at that point, which might mean that it's just not getting cached. I don't know. Point being that it's an issue that I think has to do with Unity's services, so I'm gonna have to try to figure that out. Oh, I didn't know that was the name of the arcade. Huh. Okay. Well then, yes. There's a decent selection up there. Actually, last time I went, there was a pretty cool Luigi's Mansion arcade game. In any case, so let's go ahead and stop playing, because I have to make changes to my custom game session. Let's see here. We're going to go to custom game utility. Is that what I called it? No. Well, I don't remember what I called it, but I can look at it down here. Custom content utility. There we go. Go to definition. Let's see here. Game info, game settings. Here we go. We're going to need public const string key settings exit room is equal to settings dash exit dash rooms. All right. So that's simple. We come down to custom game session. Let's see here. I guess we're going to want to do that, aren't we? So let's see here. Sections, where we go. Here we are, settings. So, starting room, then we're going to say a for loop. We're going to say for int I equals 0, I is less than exit rooms dot count I plus plus. And then we're going to have to make a JSON array. Array new JSON array. You know what? I wonder if I could write it. That actually would be pretty nice. Yeah, okay, I'm going to do that real quick. I'm going to make a nice convenience constructor for JSON arrays that will accept basically a list of single values like integers, floats, and strings, and I guess bools. So those 4 base values. We go there when we go to the state finals, but a bunch of us are headed to the DCI finals right now. Ah, cool. Well, I hope you have fun while you're up here. Let's see here. JSON array. Here we are. So we're going to go ahead and say public JSON array. And we're going to take a list of ints. And that's going to be called, I guess, just values. And I believe these have to be JSON values, which is blah. But I guess that's fine. So I can just say for int I equals 0, I is less than values dot count I plus plus. This dot values is equal to new this JSON value, and then add. And I think I can do ints. Yep. Values of I. And that's all I have to do. So these are just kind of nice convenience constructors. That way I don't have to have a couple of extra lines here. So normally I would have to initialize an array and then loop through it myself to add it all. And then I would have to add that finally to the JSON blob that we're creating. But we're going to get around that. I mean, technically we're not really getting around that because that's always going to have to happen. Oops, sorry, hit my mic. But now I don't have to have this massive long line of code. I can just have one line that does it all. Haha! So let's see here. We're going to say, come back here. So while we're here, I'm just going to just do some nice convenience constructors. So we're going to say public construct. Excuse me. Public constructor that accepts a list of integers. It's not integers. Integers. All right, simple as that. I'm going to copy and paste that a couple of times. List of floats. Float. Let's see. List of strings. String. And list of bools. Bool. Okay. So that's pretty simple. I'm not going to try to be more complex than that. Again, these are convenience things, and there's only so much convenience I can do in one go. So we're going to get rid of this, and we're actually just going to copy this. Key settings. Oh, no, I should probably call that exit rooms. Rename exit rooms. And then we're going to say new JSON array exit rooms. So simple as that. One line of code now instead of like 5. So when was the date this game is coming out? So optimistically next year, so 1 year away. More realistically, we're probably looking at a little bit longer than that. Just because it's already August, and I haven't really started modeling the last 4 levels of the game. So I'm currently still cleaning up the overworld. Which means that if I'm really productive, as in I can get a really good workflow going, then maybe by the end of this year I can have the overworld done, which means that I could have a clean slate to just do the final 4 levels of the game next year. But I'm willing to bet that it's probably going to take an extra year on top of that for polish and cleanup. So optimistically, sometime next year. More realistically, probably looking at 2019, admittedly. Which is, I understand, a bit of a time. It's, geez, kind of causes me pain to just think about that, actually. But I know that there's a lot of cleanup that I'm going to have to do after I do a lot of playtesting with the couple of levels after the first 2, because right now the first 2 levels have basically been play tested to death. Those are the things that I show at every convention I go to, but the other levels have not had that have not had that play testing done to them. It's all just been me, basically. So at a certain point, I'm probably going to have to start sending out beta tests to try and get feedback and see where people get stuck. I'm pretty confident with my initial passes at these things, especially since I've redone them fairly recently to make it more intuitive and more interesting. But it is probably going to be something that will take a while. When you get a price, I can give you a ballpark right now as far as price goes. I don't have anything set in stone, but I am leaning 15 to 20. Just because. Well, one, I don't think that 20 is an unfair asking price, and there's been a lot of research that's been done that says if you sell your game for less than 15, it's hard to make your money back, or it's hard to make any money really. And I would like to turn a profit on this just because that means I have money for my next game, and it gives me more money to do something really weird with my next game. Well, I say weird, but I shouldn't say weird. Something unexpected, I guess. So yeah, 15 to 20 is the ballpark, but again, that's not set in stone. I do not plan on going over 20. I don't even know what could convince me to go over 20 unless I was curing diseases with my game somehow. All right, so that's the settings stuff. So we're loading, or no, now we're saving that out, but now we need to actually pull it in. So let's go to settings. Here we go. So here we're going to say JSON array. Exits array, I guess is what I'll call it, is equal to settings JSON. Oops. JSON.get array. Custom content utility dot key underscore settings exit rooms, and we'll have a new JSON array just for safety. And now we have to do the for loop. For int I equals 0, I is less than exits array dot count. Oops, that's right, I did by length. Dot length I plus plus. Although I guess I should ask you guys while you're watching, what do you think a fair price would be? Which I know is kind of odd asking you since you haven't seen the full game, but do you think 15 to 20 would be a decent asking price? Probably should ask people that before I just decide that that's the price range. All right, so then we're going to say exit rooms dot, just add exits array dot get int value at index I. There we go. I'm actually going to move this up here. All right, let's go ahead and set that. And okay, so I think that's going to get all of our saving and loading for it done. But now we actually have to put in the effort to determine which rooms are going to be exit and non-exit rooms. If it helps you get the money for your next game, then sure, that's fine. But do you think people would buy the game for that price? Again, it's hard to say because I don't feel like. Well, one, I mean, it's hard to really evaluate what you get for your money, right? Especially now in the days of survival games where there's not a lot of meat, but there's definitely a lot of bone for you to gnaw on and go for like 100 hours and just do stuff like, farm food, eat, survive, do whatever you do. But I personally don't like those types of games, and I feel like they're very empty. But they're a time sink, and some people do just equate money to time. So they want games that give them, Skyrim 120 hours. But again, when you do that, you spread things out so thin that there's not really a lot of depth to them. They don't feel really rewarding to play necessarily. Now that I'm not saying they're bad or anything like that, and I'm not saying that all games are like that, that have those long play times, but that's typically what you get with a long play time. It's very rare to have a game that has both long play time and a large amount of complexity and depth to its mechanics. In fact, I kind of fall on the more towards the War Inspector side of the spectrum for game design. So I fundamentally think that a game that's 1 or 2 hours long that has a lot of things that the player can interact with and do would be more rewarding than a game that's 60 hours long but is kind of not really that great for the player to interact with or to really play. So to that point, I mean, my target time for first-time normal playthroughs is about 3 hours, which I think is respectable for an indie game, especially an adventure game. And it doesn't feel too long that way, so I don't worry about fatiguing the players. But it's kind of hard to say. And I mean, the other thing is it's such a strange concept that it's difficult to get people to play it. I think once people start playing it, they enjoy it pretty generally. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be easy to say, look, this is a strange thing. Hello, wish I had a better name. I don't, because your name is actually very easy to say. Let's see. Well, thank you, William. So what is this game? This is Text Quest. It is a first-person text-based adventure where everything in the world is made up of text. So I can actually back out and show you a little bit of that. So you can see walls say the word wall, water says the word water, trolls say the word troll. But actually, if you're curious about information on the game, there's a link to the website, which is down below. And it has some information about the game and actually a demo if you are curious to try it out. So anyway, okay, let's go ahead and stop playing. Then we're going to look at our save file. Ta-da! So now we have our settings exit rooms. So we have a save spot for it. Now we have to actually hook up our UI to allow you to toggle which room is going to be an exit, which room is going to be a starting room, and which rooms aren't. So I think currently there is actually no way to set the starting room. It's just whatever the first room you create is, it's going to set the starting room to be that. But what we'll probably do is we'll retain that behavior. So the first room you create will still be the starting room. But now our room UI will have basically a little field that says starting room and then another field that says exit room. So you can just toggle those on and off. Getting the demo right now. Cool. And I should really watch my Twitch board. Thank you for following, by the way. All right, so let's go ahead and pull up our UI. And we're going to add two little toggles for our custom room views. Custom room. Pull this up. So currently our custom room view has buttons for customizing what background image is going to be shown, what audio is going to be shown, or listened to, I guess. And we're going to have to add a couple of toggles. So the question there is, where do we want to put it? It probably would be fine to put these here. I think we're getting a little cramped in our UI, but I'm not sure how else to really handle that. So let's go ahead and start messing around with that. Oh, by the way, for those who just popped in due to William hosting, we are currently working on a system to allow players to make their own custom text-based adventures. So I'm working on the UI for each room that you create in your game. And right now, specifically, we are trying to set up exit rooms, which are the last rooms that you would get to in a game, and then start rooms, start room, which is the room you start at in a custom game. So let's go to room description. We have buttons here, which I think is just, it's our background. So let's go ahead and add a new object here. Put you up here. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, okay, never mind. Don't need that there. So actually, we're going to call this background buttons. And then we're going to have a separate thing right here. There we go. Let's see. So description area from the bottom is about 60. Let's get a look at this. Oops. Okay. One more time. Why can I not select this? There we go. Phew. Well, thank you for saying that it looks interesting. Yeah, if you play out the demo, let me know what you think. I am quite proud of it. Although, admittedly, the demo is from last November, so there are some newer things that are cool but aren't in there. But that's just the way demos go. So I'm going to go ahead and stretch this. Do I want to stretch it? Maybe not. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, description. That's right. Okay, because I hit F while that was selected. Let's see. So I guess actually I would want this to be, anchored to the bottom. Let's go ahead and pivot it to the bottom. Let's give it, I guess we'll have a horizontal layout group on it. So layout, horizontal layout group. We're probably fine on that. We'll do spacing of 10, I'm guessing. No, 5. And we'll have it control child size, both width and height. Let's see. How complete is the game? You have the first 2 levels. How much more have you done and plan to do? So the first 2 levels are done. That's the demo. The next 5 are modeled and textured, though there are some minor changes that I'm going to make there. And the puzzles for them are designed, but they need to be re-implemented for the most part because I scrapped what I had done there. And then in addition to those 5 levels, I have at least 4 more that are not modeled and textured at all. Or actually, that's not true. Some of them have been modeled and textured, but I'm probably going to scrap that because they were done over 2 years ago and they're probably terrible. Actually, not probably. They kind of are terrible. And they were before my new my new art flow pipeline. So there's 2 that are done. 5 that are almost done, and 4 or 5 that are have yet to be started. So it's about 60% done, is what I've been saying. In any case, so let's go ahead and how high do I want to make this? Height of 50 seems fine. Let's see here. Let's shorten our description label to 120. Maybe just 110. That's not bad. Let's go ahead and come up here. I'm actually going to copy this button, paste it here. Ta-da! Let's duplicate that, and okay, so I lied. This is going to have to go 55. Nope, 60. Oof. What is going on here? Cannot possibly be that tall. What is... Oh. Duh, it's the height that I was changing. I want my position to change. There we go. Whoops. Okay. So that actually looks fine. Let's go ahead. We're going to change these. These aren't going to be buttons. They're going to be toggles. So they're going to be a little bit different. Let's see. Do I have a convenient toggle? It's fine. I can just make one real quick. All right. So let's change this to starting room. And we're going to change this one to exit room. Oops. There we go. This looks really fun. I like the to open door. I need to type open simply. So the genre, I say it's a first-person text-based adventure. So broad genre would be an adventure game. Think the original King's Quest or Zork. Or more recently, you'd have like the LucasArts Monkey Isle games or Sam and Max. Technically, I guess the Telltale games that exist now are like a distant offshoot of the adventure games. It's hard to, I don't know if I would really call them adventure anymore. But that type of genre. So it's a little bit slower. It's a more, I guess I would say thoughtful, but that kind of makes it sound really pretentious. But it's not a high octane type game necessarily. Although I guess there are some action elements in it occasionally. In any case, let's go ahead and get back to our labels, our exciting labels. So let's see here. I'm probably going to keep. Let's remove this stuff. Remove and remove. Okay, so we're going to move this up. And, oh, it's not scaled right. 111. Alright, let's rename this to label. Okay. And then we're going to create a toggle. Where is my toggles? There's my toggle. Alright, I'm going to get rid of its text label because I don't need that. And let's see here. So this label is actually going to be stretched, and it's going to have a max of, I'm guessing, 0.5. Actually, that's not bad. Then our toggle is going to be stretched as well. Well, sort of stretched. It's going to be stretched vertically, but it's going to be centered there, like that. We're going to have a pivot at 0 like that. Position. That's interesting. Its height seems like that's incorrect. Ah, there we go. That's why. Ta-da! Much simpler. All right. Let's see. King's Quest was the first game my dad showed me from his childhood, and one of the first games I ever fully enjoyed. First, the graphics turned me away, but then it was super fun. Well, that's kind of what I'm going for. I feel like there is a little bit of a hurdle to overcome, depending on how you react to the graphics when you first see them. But I personally think that it's a fun game once you get into it. But of course, I'm kind of biased. So, all right, we're going to change our background here to be. Remember, I never remember. Solid, I believe. I never remember if I called it solid or square. And it is not going to be filled in the center. All right, then we're going to have a check mark here. Have this stretch all the way. We're going to change this to solid as well. We can have it be sliced, but we don't actually need it to be. All right, so it's going to be 5, 5, 5, 5. So we're going to have a little bit of a gap there. And let's see here. I guess this is just going to stretch like that. Let's give it a width of 50. Oh my goodness, that is too big. Okay. How about do 5, no, 10 from the top, 10 from the bottom, which means this is going to be 30. There we go. That's a lot better, I think. So that's decent for the toggle. Let's go ahead and change this. This is going to be our exit room toggle. All right, so now I'm actually going to delete the other one, and we're going to just duplicate that, move this forward, single it out. All right, so this is room background button, and now it's going to be called exit room, and then start room. All right, let's call this start room. Okay. Not super crazy about having the labels doubled up like that. I feel like I can get away with not doing that. So let's go ahead and change our pivots here to 0.75. Yeah, that looks better. So we're going to change these to 0.75 as well. Ta-da! There we go. So now we have single lines, and our toggles are still spaced out. So we don't have as much white space here. Okay, so let's see. Do I need to do anything else? Oh, I probably should rename this. Let's go ahead and call this one start room toggle. All right, and then I'm going to have all the fun of changing these. So 0.2, let's see, normal color. Let's toggle is on off, which of course is really annoying because it won't actually show up until I turn these on and off. So the target graphic is our background, which is our sliced sprite. I don't really like doing that. It's fine for now. I think for now I'm going to actually turn off color tints, so we're not going to have any type of transition. Turn off our navigation, of course. I think that's all we really need to do. So, okay, let's go ahead and call this special indicator. Don't really know what else to call that. Let's go to our custom room here. Open this up. All right, so now we need to add 2 references to those toggles. So let's say public toggle start room toggle public. If I could spell public right. Toggle and room toggle. All right. So what we're going to do here is we're going to basically hook up listeners to these, and these are exclusive. You cannot be both a start and an end room. Well, I don't know. I guess I can think of weird situations where you would just have a start and an end room. No, actually you can't. Never mind. No. End rooms are actually going to have very specific logic in them, and when you enter an exit room, anything you type will end the game. So you cannot be both a start and an end room. So they are going to be mutually exclusive. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to come down here. On background texture, on audio clicked. New exit, on exit edit, on exit delete, and here we are. So we're going to say private void on start room toggled, I guess. And that's going to have a bool value because that's what Unity passes. And then we're going to have private void on end room toggled bool value. Same thing. Is there any way to scroll through options for words that show up? There is not currently. There is an option, and I think it's hooked up. Admittedly, some of the options menu stuff is not fully functional, but if you go into the options menu, I think you can change how many hints you get. Maybe I might not have that in that version. So for now, yeah, you can't really scroll through that. As you type, it'll change what's there to show you more hints to better match your typing. But yeah, there's no way to scroll through it right now. That is something that people have asked about, and I'm trying to figure out what would be a good way to do so. Let's see here. So, okay. So now we're going to move on to start room toggle dot on value changed dot add listener on start room toggled. toggle dot on value changed. Oops. On value changed. Dot add listener on end room toggled. All right. Let's see here. So we're not quite done yet because I actually need to go to my room info. Let's see, room info, peak, go to definition. All right. So, I wonder, well, so I can either store this information here or I can store it in a more centralized area under classic, oh, where is it? Custom game session. Because you can retrieve all of that, but that might not be the best idea. It's just, I don't really think it makes sense to actually store that information here because 90% of rooms are not going to be a start room or an exit room. I probably should actually call exit rooms end rooms too instead of exit rooms. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to store it here. Instead, I'm going to do sort of a roundabout way of retrieving this information, but it'll cut down on our file sizes pretty significantly. So let's go ahead and let's see here. Yes. So with the jumbled word stuff, that's actually a mini game. You can unscramble the words and you'll get a little bit of text about the lore of the world. Unfortunately, there's instructions that tells you what to do, but the level loads so fast that you don't see that. So in the demo, it's actually not really that great, and it's more confusing than it is satisfying. So those are things you can unscramble, but yeah, it's not very well, or it's not executed very well, I don't think. I think I'm going to actually just change how my level screens, or my level loading works, as far as the presentation goes. All right, so we need some way of checking the starting room. So I'm going to go to find all references. I guess I just do that. But do I not actually, I guess I never really had to retrieve if a room was a starting room. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back to game session. Yes, we're going to do it in the game section. So let's see here. Public void, start custom game, attempt, blah, blah, blah. Actually, I need a bool, so that's going to be up top here. So we're going to say public bool is starting room. That's going to take an int ID. And then we're going to say return starting room is equal to ID. Okay, simple as that. Then we're going to have public bool is end room. Int ID. It's going to be the same thing. We're just going to say return exit rooms dot contains ID. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and rename this to be end rooms, which does mean that I'm going to change my custom content utility to say end rooms there. And we're going to rename this. Might as well have consistent terminology. So start and end. That sounds better than start and exit. Okay, so now we're going to go back to our custom room view. And let's see here. Oh, actually, you know what? Before we can do that, I need to custom game. Let me close my texture and file manager stuff. Okay, so we actually need to have a, I guess, public void function up here. So public void set start room int ID, and then we're going to say starting room is equal to ID. Yeah, the mini game stuff for the loading screens was because I always enjoyed games that had mini games when I was a kid for their loading screens. Then I think Namco patented it, and no one could do it for like 10 years. But now that patent has expired, which means that I can do it for free and not worry about it. So we're going to say add exit room int ID. All right, and let's see here. We're going to say if end rooms contains ID, and this is going to be add end room. And if not end rooms, that contains is that we're going to say end rooms dot add ID. Simple as that. All right. Do I need to get? No, not really. But I do need to go to custom content, or not custom content utility. Here we go. Final references. Here we go. And I'm going to say else if end rooms dot contains ID return custom game settings. Oh, not sessions. Settings dot end node color. Okay, so now our exit nodes should actually look red when we boot up the game. All right, let's see here. So we have pretty much everything in place. All that's left now is for us to actually make the toggles function. So we're going to say on start room toggled, say if value. Yeah, here we have a bit of a conundrum. So I can't really allow you to toggle the start room off because there has to be a start room, and if you delete that start room, you need to be warned about it. In fact, actually, this is something that we might actually get to. So I'm actually not going to worry about the start room toggle for now. I'm going to just go ahead and do the end room stuff because the next thing I want to do for the custom game menus is have a little warning box that tells you things that are wrong with your game. And that's going to be fairly limited. It's basically going to be things like your game doesn't have a start room, or your game doesn't have an exit room, or an end room. Stuff like that. Or maybe mentions like room so-and-so has no connections and cannot be reached. Things like that. So things that are, I guess I would say programmatically wrong with your game, but I don't care about content or anything like that. It's just about will the game function from beginning to end. All right, so let's go ahead and go up here. So we're going to say if custom, I can't do that. I have to do if global dot get custom game session. Oh, you know what? Actually, I don't think I need to do that because I think I cached that up here, don't I? Right? Surely I do. Yes, author session right there. All right, so I can just say if author session dot is end room value. Oh, not value. Sorry. I'm going to say ID. Nope. Room info dot ID. Else. So if it is an end room, then we are going to set it to not be one, and if it is not, we will set it to be one. So we're going to say author session dot. Oh, dang it! Did I not add that? Okay, I need to add custom game session. Here we go. Come up here. So I guess actually I don't need set start or set and add end room stuff in the base session class. We don't actually need that there because you can't dynamically change that. So that's going to have to be up here instead. Generate room ID. Here we are. Okay, and then we're going to say public void remove end room int ID. It's going to be the same thing basically, but in reverse. So we're going to say if it does actually contain it, we will remove. All right, and actually, you know what? I can shorten this to one line. Ha! Less lines of code. Technically, I mean, it's just braces, but still. All right, let's go back here, and then we're going to say author session dot remove end room ID or room info dot room ID. All right, then we're going to say author session dot add end room. Okay, and one last thing, when we're on open here. Hold on. Yeah, okay. Let's go ahead, come up here. Here we go, open. Refresh info, go to definition. All right, so now we're going to say if author session dot is end room. Actually, I guess we'll do the starting room too. Is starting room info dot room ID. Oops, that's a new statement, not a function. Then we're going to set our toggle there to be true. So we'll say start room toggle dot is on is equal to true. Else start room toggle is on will be equal to false. Which that might cause a annoying loop, but it might not be that bad. We're going to do something similar for the end room is end room. All right, so end room toggle is on and end room toggle is off. All right, let that compile. Then we'll assign our references, and then we should actually be good to go on testing. And I think that'll actually hook pretty much everything up, except for the actual logic governing the end room stuff. But it should flag the specific room to be a end room, which means that its room node color should change. All right, so let's go ahead and exit room toggle and start room toggle. All right, let's go ahead and apply these changes. Close our UI, get rid of it, and save. All right, good to try. Click through these. Start, extras, author mode, create, Zork. All right. So, actually, I'm just out of curiosity. Aha! It works! Well, for the start room, at least. Now let's set the den to be an exit room. Let's close, and there it is! Nice! So, it actually does flag that correctly. Let's go ahead and turn that off, and now it's... Haha! Perfect! Cool. So, that stuff seems to work. We don't have the starting room logic set up yet, but I think that's because the next thing we're going to want to do is have that little like warning label down here at the bottom to let you know what is wrong with your game currently. So I feel like I can get rid of this legend button, which is a shame because it's super cool and I like it. Oh, you know what? Actually, I bet I could replace that with our little errors. That might actually be nice. Because I like having these little buttons that you can click on for things like stats and information. So I might add another button up here that's the like console kind of. I don't know what I would call it. Warnings. But then that can have things like, let's see, no starting room, no exit room, no connections, and those are the three main ones that I can think of. So let's go ahead and stop playing. Then we're going to come up here. Let's close our JSON array stuff. Let's get rid of some buttons that we don't need to really worry about, or some classes. Custom room view. We're not done with that yet, I guess, so we'll keep that one open. Classic games list, that's done. And this one is done as well. All right, so let's go ahead and open up our... Huh, really? I don't have the map view? Custom game map view. All right, let's see here. So we have a stats area and a legend area. We're going to need a similar thing for our new console. We're going to call this warnings area, I guess. I'm not really sure what else I could call that. Console makes sense, but that's because I'm a developer working in Unity. I don't really want to call it console. Mostly because I'm trying to think of like language that non-developer players would get for a button that would show up at the top left there. And I think warnings would be fine. So let's go ahead and pull up our UI again after Unity compiles, of course. God, I wish I knew why it takes so long to stop playing. There has to be something massive loaded into memory that it has to unload. I just don't know what. It's so weird. All right, let's see here. So we want custom game map view. Pull that. Actually, no, before we pull that out, let's go ahead and turn on UI. And then custom game map view. We can probably get rid of custom room there too. All right, so that's that. Let's go ahead and go to our toolbar. Nope, it's not that. Info bar. Well, apparently I don't remember where my own things are. Map capture. Ah, here we are. I guess I could have just done this too. All right, let's see here. So there's our toolbar, which is up at the top. Legend area, stats, background. Okay, so I guess we'll just duplicate legend area, and this will be just called warnings. Warnings. Go ahead and single these out. Make sure everything looks nice. All right. For now, actually, can I? Let's go ahead and set these alphas to be 0, so I'm not looking at them. Okay. Oh. Oh. Right. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit different. So our warnings, because there could be any number of warnings, we need to actually let it scroll. So we don't want it to just be one size fits all. It's actually going to need to be adjustable. Well, I say adjustable, but I don't mean like the player can move this around. I mean it needs to dynamically resize based on its contents, which isn't that hard. I mean, it's already doing that. If I disable this, you'll see that it shrinks and grows. So I know what I need to do. It's just a little bit more complex than the previous ones. So I think this is our actual background. Yep, okay. So we're going to get rid of these. And let's see, do I have anything actually on this script? Nope. Okay. Yeah, so if you haven't done much with Unity's UI system, you're about to get a little bit of a crash course on how to create dynamically sizing or dynamically sizing menu items. Are you going to be in the game like most games? Where you find one of the devs face. Oh yeah, no, I actually do plan on having myself be in there. I really, really like. I think it was Chrono Trigger. It was one of the Chrono. It might be Chrono Cross. I want to say it was Chrono Trigger though. They had a dev room, which was just a bunch of the developers with in-game sprites running around doing random things, and you could talk to them, and they'd say like, "I worked on the art," or "I worked on the programming." So I'd like to have a room like that. But of course, that means I'm going to have to hide it or make it very, very difficult to get to. So yes, I am planning on putting myself in my own game because I am very narcissistic. In any case, so we're going to say create UI, and we need a, where are you? Scroll view. So this is actually a really weird thing that we're going to do here. Because we don't want a scroll bar horizontal. To our scroll view. Set that to be none. Let's see. We don't want it to be scrollable horizontally. It is going to be clamped movement type. I'm not really crazy on inertia, but I guess I should have that in there. Scroll sensitivity will be 10. Auto hide and expand. Not really that crazy about it. I guess that shouldn't really matter. So this is going to be fun. Let's see here. Have our pivot, all that stuff set up. Good. So we're going to add a vertical layout group. Vertical layout group. And then we're going to have another layout thing called size or content size fitter. And it's going to be set to preferred size. So what this content size fitter does is it will adjust the height, in this case, of this object. But we actually need that to constantly drive its parents' heights too. So this is actually kind of an annoying thing that we have to do right here. I don't think I particularly need this image. Let's remove this. But our viewport is going to have to change. Man. We need the scroll bar, but I don't really care for it. Okay. We're going to have more content size fitters. And unfortunately, with content size fitters, you have to have a layout group of some kind. I don't know why they made it that way, but that's just the way it works. So let's go ahead and do another content size fitter. Again, vertical fit, preferred size, and then we have to do that again for our scroll view. So much crap. So let's go ahead and do layout. Oh, not rendering. Layout, vertical layout group. Check off width and height so that it scales everything appropriately. And then layout, content size fitter, and preferred. All right, so now you can see that things aren't super tiny anymore. So now, ooh, gross. Okay, I think this actually needs to move over to here. Ah, crud. I can't get away from it, can I? Dang it. Okay, this is actually going to need a layout element, and it is going to ignore layout. There we go. And all we're going to do for that is have it be aligned to the right and stretched all the way. So with the, I'm guessing 30 is probably fine. Seems fine. All right, let's see here. Scroll view here. Oh, I guess it's just going to be stretched anyway. That's interesting. Why will you not force expand its width? That's odd. This width should be driven. Huh. Okay, hold on. Gotta take a look at this. Oh, good. We have a red X. That means that something's going wrong here. Something has a negative scale or a negative value for its width. And it is something below you. Ah, there we are. It's you. Let's go ahead and test some stuff real quick. I'm going to add some child objects. Go ahead and add an image. And we're going to give it a min height. So layout. Layout element. Preferred height. We'll do min. No, not preferred width. Min height of 50. There we go. So now we got some space there to look at it. Hello, Garrett. Welcome back. Yes, William did host, and I thanked him. Although I probably should have. Yeah. So one of the. Oh, dang it! I knew one day I would forget to do that, and look at that. It was today. Okay. Yes. So I completely forgot to have my little avatar guy walk on screen. Of course that would happen. In any case, one of the things that I wanted to do with my little avatar guy there was I wanted, when people host me, I wanted the camera to pan back and then have it actually like show their portrait. But I haven't quite rigged it up to actually hook into Twitch. So, but that's something I would like to do. In any case, let's go ahead and so now you can see that if I duplicate this, we'll get. Let's go ahead and space this out too, like by 5. We will keep expanding our image. And I guess that's all I really care about at this point. Let's get our... I'm a little worried about this. I don't know why our content isn't stretching like it should be. It's just really weird. Like it kind of makes me think that something. No, it's not that. It's definitely weird. Huh. So this is not stretching for some reason. Huh. I wonder if that's actually a bug. Because I can't really think of why these wouldn't be sized the way they are. Well, then again, actually, 30 and... Nope, that's still super weird. Alright, well, it's fine for now, I guess. I don't really intend on this being dynamically sized width-wise, so, it's fine. Let's go ahead and change this width to be, I don't know, 400. That's probably fine. Okay, we're going to want our content to be 350, I'm guessing. Oh, and it's being driven. Okay. It has to be driven by something else. I bet it's this. Okay. So let's go to padding, and then from the right, we're going to do 30. There we go. Yeah, so that actually makes it offset a little bit from our slider. But see the problem there. Dang it. That's not what we want, actually. Let's see here. There we go. Let's change our pivot to 0 there. There we go. That actually works a lot better. So instead of our scroll view having a 30 offset, we're going to set that back to 0. Then we're going to change our background here. This is going to have a spacing from the right by 30. 35. There we go. And let's change our scroll bar width here to be 25. Oh, dang it. And a position of 5. That's fine. Hello. I'll get this. Aridanas? Aridanas. Oh, Aridanas sounds better. I hope I got your name right. Hello. Either way. Oh, by the way, completely forgot to ask, Garrett, how are you today? And how are you, Aridanas? All right. So we have our dynamically sizing menu. Get rid of that. And we have our scroll bar in a decent position, I think. I wonder if it's actually just always going to be there. We'll find out. Doing well, that's good. I am doing all right, but as always, the ultimate judge of that will be how well this stream goes. So if I can get our little warning menu working, in addition to the end room nodes that we have sort of functioning right now, then I will be very happy. So welcome to the stream, either way. All right, so we have our content. I think we could leave this as is, and it should dynamically set itself. So the next thing we want to do is actually have warnings with labels. So let's go ahead and, do I want this to be, that's probably fine. Let's go ahead and set this, where are you? Solid. We're going to give it an outline like that, which I'm assuming only looks wrong because of my subpixel stuff going on right now. Let's see here. Not crazy about that, but you know what? I don't like that. Let's remove that. We are going to add a TextMesh Pro text label here. All right, let's change it to match our 8-bit font. Okay, and let's have this stretch to fill the entire thing. All right, so we're going to lower our font size down to 24, 18. 18 seems right. I'm well, still working on Frep with Starlit Skies. Wrestling with timeline feature for static animation. Yeah, timeline's still kind of weird. They're still changing a fair amount of it, actually, every patch release and every release of Unity. So, I mean, it's really cool, but what are you trying to do with it? Let's call this label. And we're going to call this not image, but warning message. And I guess I should have two, I think we're going to adopt Unity's 3-color system, so we're going to have 3 different types of warnings. A red one, which will be reserved for things like there's no starting node, there's no end node. A warning, which will probably be something like there's a room with no connection. I guess I can just do the 2. I don't really know what my 3rd level would be, which would be kind of like mundane information. Besides something like maybe you have a variable declared that's not used, but I feel like that could be in the general yellow warnings. So, all right, let's go ahead and clear that. So we have a warning message. Let's go ahead and center that, and I think we're good after that. Let me go ahead and have 2 lines here just to see what it looks like. 3. Okay, so I think we can do about 3 before we go crazy. 5. You know what? I think we're also going to have these be things that can stretch. So let's go ahead and we're going to add a layout component. It's going to be a, it doesn't really matter, I guess, for variety's sake. We'll just keep it with vertical. We've been doing vertical for a while. It's going to stretch and do all that fun stuff. And then we're going to have another layout. And this one's going to be our content size fitter, and that is going to be for our vertical fit preferred size. All right, so now what should happen is, do we need the men height? Yes, we do, but we're going to change that to, I'm guessing, 25. Yeah, that looks a little better. All right, so now if we have, a really long message like this, it'll actually stretch things. Uh-oh. I know what it is. We got to change our pivot to 1 here. And I think that should do it. Oh, that didn't do it. Uh-oh. Did it really not? Okay, something's going wrong here. Something's going wrong here. Something's going wrong here. Does this pivot need to change? I wouldn't think so. Interesting. Why are you not scaling up? Preferred size. Preferred height of 70, but... Oh, wait, it's not you. It's someone else. Someone else isn't scrolling. It's you! Ah, there we go. Aha! Which means that this needs to change to preferred size. Okay, there we go. I think that means I can actually set this back down to 0.5. Not worry about it. And I think I can do that with you as well. The only thing that really matters, I think, is content. So let's go ahead and try changing these labels. So we're going to say test and test and test. Or tets. Okay. Sprite animation sequence. A pug dog walks across the screen, turns to the camera and pauses, then turns away and rocks off. Okay. Yeah, that's actually, so the little walking animations that my guy does whenever I enter and exit the frame, those are actually timelines doing pretty much that exact thing. Except I guess he doesn't stop and then keep going. He just stops in the middle, and then the next one is him leaving the screen. All right. So that is our actual warning labels. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Now I need to make a script for this. So let's go to node. Dang it, of course that's not one that's easy to customize. Come up here, rooms, we're going to have one for warnings. Folder, warnings. So this is going to be, what do I want to call it? Warning node, I guess. Or no, how about custom game warning? There we go, that's not bad. Yeah, I thought about doing a stream overlay thing in Unity, but since I don't stream much. Yeah, I mean, I only did it because it was something I was really curious about. And I mean, I had the guy in Flash, and obviously I wanted, I mean, since when you stream, you're supposed to have a like portrait of yourself, and I don't know, I thought it'd be boring just to look at me. I thought it'd be more interesting to have an actual sprite guy. But I honestly don't know if it's worth the effort. I don't mind doing it because, I mean, as you've seen with my work, I'm super okay with doing excess work for no real gain. But there is definitely a trade-off of developing your your avatar streaming thing as opposed to the actual game that you're supposed to be streaming. So we're going to say using Unity Engine.ui. All right, now we're going to say, oh, I almost forgot. Actually, I don't even need that. I can just say using TM Pro. We're going to say public text mesh pro UGUI label. And then we can just have a quick, not public string text. I'm just going to say get return label.text and then set label.text is equal to value. Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of my motto, right? Excess work for no real gain. Because I know that it's cool and it's in there, but chances are 90% of people won't actually see that. So, but I don't mind. As long as one person sees it and thinks that it's cool, then I think it's worth the effort. Um, all right, so that's pretty much all I have to do for that. Let's go ahead and let that compile. And let's see here. Then we're going to need a custom game. See, should I have other sessions give the warnings? Yes. That's kind of tough. I'm not sure how to come up with these warnings actually. So let's go ahead. We're going to come up here to our warning message. We're going to add our custom game warning. Oops. Come on. There we go. Drag our label into that, and we'll make that a prefab. Create folder warnings. Let's drag that under the map view. Okay, there's our warning message. Let's go ahead and get rid of you. All right, and I think we're almost done and almost ready to test this. The last thing I need to do is actually have our custom game map reference our warnings area. And the next thing I need it to do is actually just reference. Oh, it needs a button, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, so I got a couple of things I need to do real quick. Let's see, custom game map view. There we are. Copy this, this, and this is going to say warnings button. I guess we will also need a prefab, so we're going to say public custom game warning. Warning prefab. Oh, and actually, you know what? I'm not even done with the custom game warning now that I think about it. We're going to come up here and we're going to say public color as this basic warning color is equal to color dot yellow. Curious question. When I finish the game, will you stop streaming for a while? I haven't really thought about it. Probably. I guess it depends on how I feel leading up to the actual launch. Because something that I would like to do in the weeks going up to the actual launch of the game, and I don't know, maybe for the week of the launch, just to take my mind off of it, would be like a let's play of all of the old text-based adventures. So we'd like do a let's play of Zork, and then a let's play of King's Quest and all of that. I don't know how well those would go over, and I doubt that many people would want to tune into Twitch to watch someone type text into a screen. But then again, that's kind of what I'm doing right now, if you think about it. So it's hard to say. If I want to call it dire warning, if I'm, I guess I can't really, I don't know how to phrase this. Yeah, if I'm feeling up to it, I would be happy to just sort of stream some playtesting stuff that I'm doing. But it's hard to say because I know the next project that I have in mind, it's going to be one of two different projects, and I'm leaning towards one of them very heavily. And I would actually have to figure out a new streaming solution for that, just because the game is not one that would be very easy to actually test at my computer. I mean, it's hooked up to my computer, I guess, but it'd be hard to actually do. So I would have to figure out a new streaming situation. Anyway, do I want to do sprites? Yeah, probably, but for now I'm going to be lazy. So we're going to say warning type. Yeah, that's probably fine. So we're going to say public enum warning level is equal to, no, it's going to be a byte, and it is going to have just two. It's going to be standard and dire. I feel like dire just makes it sound so dire, too much. It's like it's a dire warning. Oh well, we'll see what happens. So we're gonna say public void set text. That's gonna take a string text and then a warning level, and that's going to be label.text is equal to text, and then we're going to say label, well, actually, hold on, switch level case warning level dot standard break. We're just going to say label dot color is equal to basic warning color. Simple as that. And we're going to have one for dire, and we're going to have one for dire warning color. Ta-da! Okay, we'll let that compile. And let's see here. I don't think I really have anything. Oh, actually, I guess I'll do an all clear one too. So we're going to say public color clear warning color is equal to color.green. Oh, and yeah, should do that. So, yeah, hold on. Clear. So copy this, paste this here, clear, and clear warning color. All right, let that compile. And let's see here. So we're going to say custom game author session. So I'm going to have a function for getting warnings, I guess. It's going to be a list of warnings. Oh, ugh. I guess it's going to have to be a list of warnings and their information. So that means I need a data class. Boo. All right. And just for fun, I'm going to actually, well, not fun so much as actual control, because I don't like these colors when they're at their brightest sometimes. So something like a little bit more of a orangish yellow. Okay, that's all good, I think. The next thing I need to do is I need to actually have a data group so I can return warnings with their text and their intensity. So let's go ahead. Custom game warning. Create C# script. Custom game warning info. And reload all. All right, so this is going to be not a mono behavior. We can probably just make it a struct. Doesn't need to be serializable at all. It's just going to have public string message and then public. Oh crap! These are text quest. I was going to say they're not properly namespaced. So custom game warning dot warning level intensity. And we're going to have a public constructor, custom game warning info. It's going to be a string message. Then this. It's going to be this. And we're going to say this dot message is equal to message. And then this dot intensity is equal to intensity. Okay. So now we're going to go over here to custom game author session. So to get color, we're going to say public list custom game warning info, get warnings. Okay, so we're going to say list custom game warning info, warnings is equal to new list, return warnings at the end. All right. So now we're going to want to loop through everything to actually determine what those warnings will be. And to start off, it's going to be basic. Like I said, it's probably going to be there is no start node, there is no end node, and there is a room with no connections, I guess. So let's go ahead and say, and actually at the very end here, we're going to say if warnings.count is equal to 0. Then we're going to say warnings.add new warning info. It's going to be a message and then a dot clear for its value here. Oops. Everything is good. You know what? Everything's groovy. There we go. Let's go ahead and we're going to do some basic checks. I'm not going to worry about connections for now, although I probably should, just so that I can test it. All right, so we're going to say if start room is less than 0, I'm going to do warnings.add new warning, and this is going to be a warning level.dire. All right, and that's going to say there is no starting room set. All right, let's go ahead and do if end rooms dot count is equal to 0. There is no end room set. All right, and now we get kind of the awkward stuff. So, I think I can say get connection count. Yeah. This is going to be fun. For int I equals 0, I is less than rooms. Yeah, it's rooms. Well, actually, no. Is it room info? Yeah, it's room info. Dot count I plus plus. I'm going to say if get connections count of, oh crud, dang it. So it has to be between 2 rooms. I guess I can actually just game this and say if room info of I dot exits dot count is equal to 0, then we're going to break out, and we're going to actually say warnings dot add new custom game warning info, blah blah blah, then warning level dot standard. Okay. So this one's going to be a little bit weird because it's going to say the room blah has no connections, I guess is what I'm going to say. All right, and that's going to be room info of I dot room name. Yep. All right. So one last thing, and then we'll actually be able to test out our warnings, and that is going to be, let's go ahead and close U. Let's see, custom room or custom game map view. All right, let's see. I have to actually script this, don't I? Boop. Okay, play button, options button. Here we are. Go to definition, on legend clicked. Private void on warnings clicked. Oh, okay. Well, that's not great. Is that just a private? That's not really that good. Okay. I wonder, do I even need these actually? So we might do a little bit of cleanup. Let's see here. Stats visible equals not stats visible. Yes. I think that's fine. Dev info fade duration. Okay. Well, no. Okay. I think I'm going to say if stats area dot alpha is greater than 0 on stats click. Same with legends area. there. Alpha greater than 0f. Okay, and we're going to do pretty much the same thing for warnings. Warnings area, alpha on warnings clicked. Same thing here. We're just going to go ahead and copy this right here for our warnings because it also needs to close the other ones. Legend area. All right. And now I'm going to say, so where is this used? Find all references. It's not equal. Okay. So I don't actually need this anymore. I will keep it in there just to be sure. But I don't think I actually need that. So next we're going to do this. Pika's definition. Let's go ahead and copy this. This is going to be our warnings fade coroutine. Warnings fade coroutine. Okay. Looks like I'm passing that. I think that's to tell it whether it's fading in. Yep, fading in. Okay, so if we know that, then also I'm paranoid, so I'm going to check my volume. We know that. Aha! Okay, making sure that it wasn't on mute. Okay, so we need to actually just change this to say if legend area dot alpha is greater than 0 is all I need to say there, I believe. And no, that's actually not what we want. Well, we'll find out. So let's go ahead and check that. So that's going to be warning area. Oh, and this needs to be warnings area as well. And finally, paste this in. That's just going to be stats area. Okay, I think we're good. And we will, yeah, we can just test this out, I think, now. Position connections, fade area coroutine, all this stuff should be fine. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Let's do this thing. Oh, and I guess I need to hook up all of our references still. Oh, and actually, you know what? We need to actually, the most important part of this is actually spawning those warnings, which I'm not doing yet. So let's scroll up here. So false alert. I am not quite ready to test that yet. Let's see here. I need a rect transform. There we are, connections area. So we're going to bump this to public rect transform. We're going to call this warnings area. No, I can't call it warnings area. Warnings grid. That works. All right, and let's come down here. And let's see. Awake, fade area, new room, on warnings clicked. Here we are. So we're either going to decide to spawn or despawn all of our spawned warnings, which actually means that I need to come up here and do a quick private list. Private list warning. Warnings is equal to new. And you know what? I'll probably call these warning labels. All right. Let's come down here. We're going to say if warning labels dot count is equal to 0, then we're going to spawn them. Else, we are going to recycle them. So let's go ahead and say, how do I want to do this? Well, that's actually not super great. Oh, good, though. I can pass a callback. So that's fun. So we're going to say private void on warnings fade complete. On warnings fade complete. Crud. Really? It takes something? Wait, that doesn't make sense. To float? Oh, okay. 0f. There you go. And this is just going to recycle everything. So we're going to say, oh, crud. Okay. Ah! Okay, hold on. I can do this. Ah, here we are. So if the alpha, oh, not find. So if the alpha is greater than that, otherwise we're going to pass null. Oops. Yes, I know. You don't want me to wrap you. Oh, dang it, I can't do that. Ah, I forgot that you can't do comparisons like that. Methods. Oh, methods. Okay. Well, I mean, the solution for this is normally just have an if-else statement, but I don't like doing that. Harumph. Harumph. All right. Well, I guess I kind of have to do that, though, because I can't have nice things. We're going to copy this, and we're going to say if warnings area dot alpha is greater than 0. We're going to do that. Else, we're just going to do that. All right. So if our warning labels.count is equal to 0, then we're going to say list, list custom game warning info warnings is equal to author session. Good, I cached it here too. Dot get warnings. I'm going to say for int I equals 0, I is less than warnings. Warnings dot count I plus plus. Oh, I just thought of something. Our warning for dang it, that won't work. This won't work actually. Just realized that because not all rooms will have exits coming from them. Specifically, end rooms will not. So I guess I would do this then. And is end room info. Oh, come on. Room info of I dot room ID. Okay, I think that will solve that problem. Let's see here. So now we got to actually spawn our warnings and set them up. So we're going to say, let's see here. Custom game warning is equal to pool manager dot request custom game warning, and that's going to be warning prefab, and it will be parented to warning grid. There we go. All right, then we're going to say warning dot set text. Oh, you know what? Let's go ahead and go to set text, go to definition, and we're just going to say public void set text custom game warning info set text info dot message info dot intensity. Cool. I was going to rename this to intensity. Okay, then we can just say warnings of I, and we're going to want to say warning labels dot add warning. All the warnings. Okay, I think that's all we really need to do. So on warnings fade complete, we're going to say for int I is equal to 0, I is less than warning labels dot count I plus plus. Okay, then we're going to say Warning labels. No, not quite that. We're going to say pool manager dot recycle warning labels of I dot game object. Okay, and then at the very end here, we're just going to say warning labels dot count. Oh, not count. Sorry, dot clear. Ta-da. Okay, I think we're good. I think we actually have our code hooked up now. So let's go up to our custom game map. We're going to need to let that compile, so I'm going to take a drink because I've been talking nonstop for like an hour and a half now. All right. Okay, so let's hook these things up. Let's see, warning grid is going to be here under content, which I will actually rename to be called warning grid. Let's see, was there anything else? Ah, the warnings button, which I do not have yet, so I will need to do that. Let's go to our legend button. Is this just part of a, it is. Is it automatically? It's not. Boo. Means I have to do that. 350. Nope. 375. Oh, definitely not that. 400, I guess. Really, 425. Well, there we go. That looks a little bit better. All right, so this is going to be renamed to warnings button. Let's rename its label to warnings. Ah, dang it. It's got to be made wider. Fine. So that means this has to be probably 450. Oh, not 250. Actually, let's just do even 500. Ooh, man, even that is kind of pushing it. 525. Not crazy about that. All right, well, we'll have to live with it, I think. I will go ahead and stretch. Well, it's probably fine. I do need to actually change this, don't I? So this is going to be our background. Normal color will be black. Highlighted color will be grayish, probably like that. Press color is going to be a little bit lower. There we go. Let's go ahead and copy this value. I'm going to paste it in these two spots. Component values, just because I know I'm going to need to. Oops, hold on. And there we go. So now each button is pointing to its correct background. Cool. Oh, and before I forget, these need to be white. There we go. Let's go ahead and collapse these, and we'll add our warnings button reference. And last but not least is our prefab. Okay. God, that inspector got massive. Eee. Not ideal. Okay, let's go ahead and turn this off. Oh, and well, I guess I should do that. Let's go ahead and, let's see, legend area. Set these both back to be an alpha of 1. And hit apply. All right, so now I can disable our UI, hit save, and we should be good to go to actually test. Start, create, Zork, map. Okay. Interesting. Did I not leave that checked off? Oh, it probably had to, right, okay. Uh-oh. That's not great. Oh. Hey, what is going on here? Oh my goodness, why? Okay, something bad happened here. Let's see here. Let's go to open. Ah, I see. Oh, and it's because I think I actually did get those inverted. So I want that to be. Hold on. Warning, fade coroutine. Okay. So we're going to come back down here. And I believe we're changing this. So instead of saying if it's greater than 0, we're going to say is equal to 0. There we go. I think that was our problem. Our fade coroutine at the very end that we use for that should hard set it to be 0. Yeah. All right. Let's give that a look. Hopefully that was just a minor error. I would be a little sad otherwise, because we'll have to dig through it. Okay. Let's go ahead and press play. All right. Now we can actually test. Start. Extras, author mode, create, Zork, map, and dang it. Really? Why do YouTube work? But warnings does not, huh? All right. Well, let's take a look at that real quick then. View container. Oh. Dang it. Did I do that stupid thing that I do again? Yep, there it is. It's because the button wasn't rigged up. So warnings button dot on click dot add listener on warnings clicked. Yep. Yep, of course it was something that simple. Oh, now we have to wait like 2 minutes. Let's see here. I don't think there's anything else that I'm missing. We just have to arbitrarily wait 2 seconds. Well, 2 seconds, more like 20. I think that's actually what it is. I think it's about 20 seconds worth of dead time. No idea why. Still no idea. Unity. Alright. Let it compile and Shazam. There we go. Okay, let's give that a shot. Click through our credits. Start. Mode. Man, I really should probably fade up the audio just in case there's a loud noise like that. Create, Zork, map, and aha! Hooray! There is no end room set. So let's change this den. We'll make it an end room. Everything is groovy. All right. So let's go ahead and just create a new room. Ah, dang it. Doesn't actually work there. Let's hit close. Oh, that's interesting. What is going on? What the heck? Interesting. What the heck? Okay, well, I mean, we got this stuff. This is weird. So I think what might be happening is so every time the room info view closes, if I'm remembering correctly, let's go ahead and go over here. Yeah, we refresh the map, and my guess is that this, for some reason, is yeah. I think that it's basically the node that this one was, and that's causing problems for some reason. Huh. That's very strange. Well, either way. So yay, we get our stuff there. Let's go ahead and uncheck you, hit close. Let's go ahead and close our warnings. And that's interesting. We only have the one? That doesn't seem right. Hold on. Let's go to, because we should have both one for there is no end room and this new room does not have any connections. So that's weird. Let's go up here to UI, view container, custom game map, root, map background, map border. I guess that wouldn't, well, I guess, hold on, this will be faster. Let's go into debug view and our warning labels. We only have the one. That's super weird. Okay, I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. So let's stop that. But now we have to deal with that. That's super weird. Let's see, custom game author session. Here we go. You know what I bet it is? Well, no, that doesn't make sense. Well, yeah, I'm kind of wondering if for some reason we're just getting this error because it thinks that this room is an exit room. That doesn't make sense. This is rather annoying. Because again, these shouldn't be like you get one error. You should get any errors that you actually need. Okay, well, let's try this. I guess we go to custom game map view on warnings clicked. Go to definition. Let's see here. So we're going to say debug.log warnings.count. Okay, so now we should be able to see at least how many warnings we're getting back. I mean, I assume it's just going to be one, but doesn't hurt to debug that information in case for some reason it is sending two back and we're only using one. I don't know how that would happen, really, but you know, it never hurts. Yeah, because we're requesting a brand new prefab each time, or a brand new instance each time. This is peculiar. If we still have trouble, we might actually debug the. We might actually debug the current end IDs whenever we request if ID is end room or not. Yeah, so this is, well, that's fine. Arg. So let's set den to be an exit room. Everything is not groovy. You lie. What the heck? What is going on here? Nothing is getting set. Okay, well, here, we can look at this. End room's 12. So, I mean, that's right. Do we just not have a, yeah, new room right there, room 13. No description, no background, no audio. All of that is correct. There's nothing there. And that's because we don't want anything to be there. But then why is it not detecting that? This is interesting. Settings end rooms 12. This should now be. It shouldn't be just 12. It should. What the heck? Can I make room 2 1? What is going on? I can't. What? Okay, so 12 and 11 now are. It's inverted. What the heck is going on here? My UI, I guess, is messed up? It seems to be. Wait, hold on. I think I know what it is. Okay, I think I get it. So let's go in here. We're going to leave it as is, and that will fix it. And now our warnings will be incorrect because it's actually weirdly wrong, which is strange. Okay, let's go ahead and stop playing. We're going to come back up here to custom game author session. Oh, right, and that needs to say if not is room, so that's that little warning problem fixed. But our other thing is we need to actually come up here to custom room view. And now we have the fun thing. So what's happening is on Awake, we're assigning event listeners to our toggles for start room and end room. And each time that menu is opened, we have to manually set those values. But because of the way that it's working right now, it's basically going to set those values regardless of what they actually are already set to. So if you're not in exit room when you open that up, it will actually be added to the list of exit rooms and vice versa. So to get around that, we just need to do a very, very simple thing, which is we're going to move that from awake up to open. Here. And then we're going to duplicate that and move it down to close as well. So put this here, and we're going to just say remove. I guess we'll just do remove listener. Probably wouldn't matter to do remove all listeners, but that should actually fix our problem. At least I think it will. So now we only have the one exit room, room 12, which we'll make sure that it highlights this time. I'm a little worried that it's not highlighting, even though it says that it should. So we will find out. But I think that's actually going to allow us to see multiple warnings now. Let's go ahead and do start, extras, author mode, create, Zork, map. And there it is. So the den is, for some reason, not set. I'm going to come over here. Yeah, it gets cleared. Interesting. I wonder why. Am I not? That might be a loading issue. Okay. Well, let's check it off. Actually, no, let's leave it blank like that. Okay, so now if we check it, come back. Okay, so yep, that fixed that problem. Now if we go up to warnings, we have no end room, and the new room has no connections. All right, so we're doing well. And I think that's actually, yeah, that's the warnings that I kind of want for now. I guess we need to do our starting room stuff too. So we need to set it up so we get little warnings whenever the starting room has been deleted or is unchecked, I guess. We probably also should have warnings change its color every time the map refreshes. So it'll be black like this when there's no warnings, and maybe red or yellow. No. Actually, yeah, that's a good idea. So it'll be black when there's nothing there. It'll be yellow if we have only yellow warnings, and it'll be red if we have any dire warnings. That way you don't have to click on it to know that you have warnings. You can just, can't talk. You can just glance up at it and see, okay, it's black, that means it's fine. It's yellow, that means it's got some warnings, but they're minor, they're not game breaking, and then, or it's red, and it's like, oh, well, something broke and it's terrible now. So let's take a look at that. That's actually not a bad idea. So we're going to change this. All right, it's not going to stop playing for a while. Let's go ahead and close this. I guess what we're going to do here is we might as well go to the on start room toggle and change that. So we're going to just duplicate this. So we're going to say is starting room. Then we're going to say no, set start room to be -1. If that's the case. Otherwise, we're going to set it to be this. Okay. So that means that we can now have, that means it's now possible for you not to have a start room, but you will get a warning. Or at least you should. So let's see. The next thing we need to do is, come back here and let that compile. How do I want to handle that? Oh yes, the deleting. There we go. Let's see. On modal options selected. We're going to go to definition. All right. And we're going to say if author session dot is starting room info. Oops. Room info dot room ID. So if this room that we're deleting is the starting room, then we're going to set our author session room info for the starting room to be -1. So we're going to say author session dot set start room. That's going to be -1. Okay. And I think that's all we need to do right now. Yes. And actually that means we're going to come up here to custom game session. We're actually going to change the starting value for our, oh, there it is, never mind. Haha, it starts at -1. So we're actually good. Although that actually does mean I think down here I need to manually load that. Let's see. Starting room. There we go. We want to set that to be -10 by default. Or sorry, -1. Oh, and here we go. No, I lied. Okay, well, there we go. So we still need to figure out why our end rooms aren't saving for some reason, or rather aren't loading, because they are saving, but they're just not loading in for some reason. Well, either way. Let's let Unity compile, and then we'll test. Krakow. I feel like I should have Batman sound effects whenever I press play. Click through, type start, extras, author mode, create, Zork, and here we go. So now if we go to warnings, there is no end room set. All right, let's go up here. We're going to uncheck that, close. Okay, we have no green nodes, and hooray, there's no starting room set, and there's no end room set. I feel like I should just stretch this out a little bit more and we can, that wouldn't really matter. Okay, so we have our start room warning, we have our end room warning. Let's go ahead and get rid of those real quick. So we'll set you to be a start room. Oh, and you know what else I need to do? I need to, when exit room is toggled, I need to make sure that start room is not set on this one. So we're going to do close. Okay, that pulls that up. Let's go to den. We're going to make you an exit room, hit close. Close our warnings, open them back up. Okay, the room, new room has no connections, and if we add connections, I'm sure it will be fine. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll add an exit going north to the starting room, hit close. That's interesting. Oh, right. There we go, weird. Okay, no warnings. All right, so our custom game warnings are actually working pretty well right now. I am going to actually uncheck that, hit close. Probably should have that update whenever we refresh the map. So let's go ahead. Oh, wrong thing. Come here, reload. We have our exits. Our end rooms are 12, which is the den. I'm actually going to delete this. Hit yes, hit close. Starting room set. We're going to come back up here, and I want to see my starting room, which is set to -1. All right, so we are good. So yeah, I don't really. Let's go ahead and turn that on. I think the last thing we want to do is set our warning button to change its color, and then get our start room, exit room mutual exclusivity going on. Let's go ahead and close that. Warnings. Set that. All right. Let's go back to our custom room view, let's see here, on end room toggled. So if it's being toggled to true, then let's see. How does it not matter? It doesn't. Okay. I guess I feel like it should. I don't really think. Well, you know what? I think that this value parameter would be whatever. Yeah, we'll leave it for now. Um, actually, no. So if it is an end room, right? So we're going to say if not value. You know what? I'll comment this out for safety. So if not value, then we're going to actually remove the room. So actually, I'm going to just do this and move this back and forth like that. All right, and before we add the end room, we're going to do a quick check to say if author session dot is starting room info dot room ID. So if it is the starting room, then we need to set it not to be the starting room. So author session dot set start room -1. All right. Let's see here. And on start room toggled. Again, I think we're going to say, so if value, so we're just going to go ahead and get rid of you. We're just going to say if value, which means that we are setting it to be true. And we're going to set the starting room here. And before we do that, we're going to say if author session dot is end room, room info dot room ID. Then we're going to say author session dot remove room info dot room ID. Okay, so now that will actually handle our background information, but we need to affect our toggles that are visible at that moment, which means that we unfortunately have to assign and, well, unassign, then reassign those event listeners. I hate it when I have to do that. I'm going to actually write a convenience function for that. So we're just going to have, I guess we'll go here, and that would be the cat wanting attention. Yes, I see you, cat. All right, so we're going to say private void add start and end room listeners. Okay, simple as that. Then we're going to do another one for removing them. So remove start end room listeners. We're going to come up here. We're just going to grab this or add room listeners. Come down here, paste those in, paste those in. This is going to be remove listener. And I actually need to change this. This is going to say remove start end room listeners. All right, so now that's an actual function that I can call, making it a little bit easier. So now I can come down here, and let's see here. We're going to have to do this. So we're going to say remove start end room listeners, then add start end room listeners, and we're going to say so that was the start room toggle. So we're going to say end room toggle dot is on is equal to false. Okay, so we're going to copy this on end room toggled. We're going to do this, and this one is going to say start room toggle is on is equal to false. Okay, so let's take a look at that. I think that will fix our toggles at the very least, and make it so that we sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Make it so that we don't have to worry about the toggles not updating when you make those changes, because they are mutually exclusive. You cannot have the same room be a starting room and an end room. Mostly because that would make the game literally just a blurb of text, and then anything you type will end. So let's go to extras, author mode, create, Zork, map. Okay, it's still not loading. Okay, I wonder why. Well, in any case, so let's switch this to exit room, hit close. Good. Now our warnings say there should no starting room. Okay, and uh-oh. That didn't work. Okay. Wait, actually, hold on. So it updated that, but it didn't update the other way. Okay, so I must have coded that wrong for the start toggle. Let's see, on start room toggled. If it is an end room. Oh, I did remove room. Remove end room. There we go. That would be why. Okay. So that should fix that little problem. And let's go ahead and go to, let's see here, custom game map view. All right, and then on refresh map is what we want. Refresh map, where are you? Well, whatever. I'll just, you know what, I bet I could just skip that by going to close here. Definition and refresh map. Ta-da! Hello, Bloob Shoot. You bloob indeed. Well, welcome to the Devstream. Let's see. So we want to refresh map. So when we refresh the custom map, we actually want to have it. We actually want it to also check the warnings for your custom game. So let's see. We don't particularly care about the session save happening afterwards. So I think we can do list custom game. Except I can't spell game apparently. Custom game warning info. Warnings is equal to, no, not a new list. Author session dot get warnings. All right, then we're just going to say if warnings dot count is equal to 0, else we're going to do something else. Shocking, I know. So this is going to be the logic that actually sets our colors. And we are also actually going to want to recycle all of our warnings, I think. So yeah, it's going to be a little weird. Let's see. So if warnings equal to 0, I think the next thing we actually want to do is this. If warnings area dot alpha is greater than 0f. Do that. Oh, by the way, how rude of me, Bloob. How are you doing today? I've been very rude to all of my guests today. Don't know why. I keep forgetting to ask how they're doing. In any case, so warnings. If our warning alpha is greater than 0, that means that the warnings are visible. So I should actually repopulate them. So let's see here. I think I'm actually just going to write a function to help with that as well. God, this class is getting way too big. Okay, so let's see here. We're going to go ahead and grab this. And we're going to come up here to private void, autosave, fade area. Probably here? No, right here, after connections. So we're going to say private void generate warnings. Paste this in. And we're going to have a list of custom game warning info called warnings. If I could spell warnings. Okay, all that stuff is fine. Then we're going to have a private void clear warnings. Okay, so we'll call clear warnings before that. All right, come all the way down here. See, on play clicked. Here we are. So we'll actually change this to clear warnings. Don't need you anymore. Let's go up here. Paste this in. All right, makes it a lot easier for me to do this stuff now. Well, thank you. Thank you, Bloob. I really need to get that to pop up on screen. I hear the little chime, but for some reason it doesn't actually show up in my stream visibly who's subscribed. Anyway, so let's see here. We want to go to my place that I lost up here. So we're going to say if warnings.count is equal to 0, which is that's actually not good enough because it will always be at least 1. So we're going to say generate warnings with warnings. Okay. So instead of that, we're actually just going to do a for loop. So we're going to say for int I equals 0, I is less than warnings dot count I plus plus. All right. So we're basically going to loop through and find the worst, quote unquote worst warning. So whichever one is the most dire. So let's go ahead and say, I probably should break this out at this point, but it's fine. Custom game warning dot warning level. Warning level is equal to clear. All right. And we're going to say, kind of frustrating actually because I need to, gross. It'll be fine for a quick and dirty thing to test. So let's see, we're going to say if warnings of I dot intensity is equal to dot dire, then we're actually going to break out because dire is the most dire. Then we're going to say it's a color block, so I can't really get away from it, but I think I can try something like that. So we're going to say color block. Actually, no, we're not going to worry about that. We're going to say warning level is equal to dire. Else, if warning, if warning level does not equal warning level dot standard and warnings of I dot intensity is equal to standard, then we are going to say warning level is equal to custom warning dot standard. Okay, then at the very end here, we're just going to say switch warning level. All right, so case standard. Oops. Break. I'm going to go ahead and copy this 2 more times. So actually this is going to be clear by default and then dire for the final result. And then we have to do some color block storage. Color block clear block is equal to warnings button dot colors. Okay. Then we're going to say clear block dot normal color is equal to color. Color dot black. Cannot type. Dot black. All right. Then we're going to say finally warnings button dot colors is equal to clear block. Now that's kind of the way that we have to do it because you can't directly manipulate color blocks for some stupid reason. So what we'll eventually actually do is have a color block variable standard. It's have a color block variable for each level in our inspector, but I don't want to write the custom inspector to do that right now to make it presentable. So we're going to say dire block, clear block, and standard block, and put that there, and there we go. Okay. Oh, and we got to actually change that. So red and I guess yellow. Yeah, I guess yellow. That's fine for now. All right, let's take a look at that. So now our warnings label should refresh, or our warning background color should refresh whenever the map refreshes. Um, if our uh, if our warnings are visible when the map refreshes, they will be rebuilt and remade. And if they are not, then we won't worry about it. So, all right, I think we're good to test, and that should do it. All right. Start. Extras, author mode, create, Zork. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Null reference. That's never a good thing. Well, where did you come from? Oh, I don't like that it... Ah, I know what it is. It's you. It's you, it's you, it's you. Okay. I'm going to stop that real quick. Gotta fix my JSON parser. JSON parser. I know exactly what it is, too. This is a problem that I have had for a... Well, not for a while, but I know what it is. Let's see here. Value, value, value. Well, I suppose I'm just going to actually cheat for now because I probably shouldn't do that on the stream. So I'm going to change that manually to be 10. So the problem is that I think my parser is not... it was looking for an alphanumeric value, or rather it was looking for a numeric value, which means 0 to 1, or yeah, 0 to 9. And a negative should not mean that it's not a number value, but it doesn't recognize it as such for now. So it's not too bad. It just means that we have to have a positive number for now. But I can fix that. Just don't want to do it on the stream because digging into my JSON parser is kind of nasty whenever we have to do that on the stream. Extras, author mode, create, Zork, map. Yep. Uh-oh. Well, that's interesting. It... Interesting. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. So many things going wrong. So many things going wrong. Why is it not populating? Okay. Give me a second here. Yeah, I know. We just got to keep clicking through this, don't we? There we go. Interesting. Huh. So it must be recycling our warnings as soon as they're populated? That's weird. Okay. Let me see. Let's see. Custom game map view. Refresh map. Let's go ahead and come over here. Generate nodes, generate connections, warnings, switch warning label. If warnings area.alpha is greater than 0f, we're going to generate warnings, which, I mean, it clears our warnings first. So it shouldn't populate then recycle them. It should just recycle any existing ones, then populate them. Interesting. Okay. Well, let's take a look at what our warnings button is doing now. Oh, pa! There we go. Generate warnings. Warnings. That was because, again, I was quite silly. Get rid of you. Okay. I actually probably can get rid of that whole thing. Paste you in. And let that compile. let's test that out. Click there, and start extras, author mode. Oh no, not play. Be interesting to see if that messed anything up. There is no end room set. Okay, let's uncheck you, close. There is no starting room set. There is no end room set, and that's all right. Let's go ahead and add this as an exit room, hit close. We're going to create a new room. Nice, because we didn't have a starting room. Ooh. Okay, so that should probably, yeah. Let's go ahead and close this. There's our warnings label. Yeah, it's not going to be that yellow. It's probably going to be closer to like the dark yellow. Interesting though, because let's clear that out. Call this, oops, call this start room. Close. These warnings. Start room doesn't have any connections either, yet it's not showing up as a problem. That's interesting. I wonder why. Let's quit, then load it again. Uh-oh. And it made my cursor go away. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and add an exit here to, I guess it would be room 2. Yep. All right. And let's add an exit to the den. Got to fix that transparency issue too. Let's just go ahead and delete you. Uh-oh. That's that's not great. We got a room left over, huh? Ooh, that's not great. Okay, so it looks like we have a couple of weird things with our map going on. Not entirely sure what is happening. I'm gonna go ahead and stop playing. Let's look at our save file. What the heck? How do we have 12 multiple times? Okay, this is interesting. Do we have room 10 in here still? No. And we don't have room 13 anymore, which makes sense because we deleted it, but we didn't delete its node. Interesting. Very interesting. 13 no longer exists. Neither does 10. That's not particularly great. So, looks like we have some cleaning up that needs to happen. You can see that our connections from room 11, there's one that's trying to go to room 10, but room 10 no longer exists. So, or well, room with ID 10. So we need to fix that. And it looks like somehow we have multiple values of this, or we have multiples of the same value in our setting end rooms, which we have an explicit check for, so I'm not entirely sure why it's happening. But we will see. I will just real quick come up here to custom game author session. See, get node color, get connection, generate rooms, get, here we go, set start room, add end room. If not end rooms.contains ID, end rooms.add ID. Okay, super weird. I don't know what could possibly have added that without me knowing. Yep, add. Huh. Super weird. Oh, I guess loading could have done it. So maybe I'll have a safety check here and say if not end rooms dot contains exits array dot get int value at index I. Then we'll go ahead and add that. Seems like something I really shouldn't have to check for, but I guess it doesn't hurt. Well, all right then. Let's go ahead and fire that up one more time, and I think that it'll be a good place to stop for the day. We got our exit rooms in there. We have warnings pop up and refresh whenever you actually make a change. So that's actually pretty decent progress for one day. Um, Actually, with all that stuff in there now, our custom tools are pretty much at like 70% done. Um, we have everything you need to traverse the world, but we need to actually set up interactions. So author mode create work map. Interesting. There's no end room set. Huh? I thought I set that. Okay. I'm going to get some screenshots. Let's go ahead and we're going to add a new room. We're going to have this be just a test room. Have that be over here. Take some screenshots. Let's go ahead and uncheck exit room here. And actually, let's just, while we're at it, go ahead and uncheck that. All right. I think that's a pretty good place to stop for the night. Oh, for the day, I guess. So let me think. What did we do today? We got exit nodes working. We added these new start room and exit room toggles. We can actually now change our start rooms because before we just relied on the first node that you created being your start room. But now you can move that around. You can delete the start room. You can add as many exits as you want. Yeah, we're in a pretty good spot. So let's go ahead. I'm going to set these up as exit rooms. So now we have 2. All right. So yeah, that's a pretty good place to stop for the day. Any announcements? None for today. So we should be back on next Tuesday to continue with our. Actually, we'll probably switch over to Overworld Polish instead of the first 2 levels. And then we'll figure out what we're going to do on Tuesday. So stay tuned for that. But as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.